Hi, I'm Veronica and welcome to Jersey City Pilates. For today's class, you just need some light weights. Under 5 pounds is perfect and we will get started standing. And just bring your feet hip distance underneath you. And then go ahead and just straighten your legs all the way. Feel your knees press back. And this doesn't feel great. I feel my ribs press forward. So then just let your knees kind of relax, let your quads relax, let your glutes relax, and just sort of settle into a nice standing position. You're still nice and up tall, but your knees are no longer locked out. So just keep that in mind. We want to avoid hyperextension as much as we can. And from here, you're just going to let your arms float up to the side and then let them reach up towards the ceiling as you start to look towards the ceiling, and let your upper back kind of arch a little, and then bring your arms down by your side and then let your upper back round as your arms come down. And then sweep your arms up, look up towards the ceiling as your arms rise up, and then round a little through the upper body. 2 more just like this. And back down. Just trying to let your arms move nice and smoothly, and your shoulders only go within a range of motion that feels good. This next time you're gonna lift up and you're gonna pause, and you're gonna bring your hands behind your head, and then you're gonna round your spine forward and then open up towards the ceiling. And now as you come forward, you're gonna bring your elbows in and then widen your elbows and lift up through the torso. And 2 more. And up. Last one. And up. And this time you're gonna round down and then let your arms fall long. Bring your feet a little wider if you need. Knees stay bent. And then you're just gonna keep rounding down. You can sort of drag your fingertips along your thighs if that feels nice. Reach down towards the floor, let your head be heavy, and then peel yourself back up 1 vertebrae at a time. Knees stay soft. And then again, bend all the way down. Just starting to get your spine moving. Maybe you woke up 10 minutes ago. Maybe you've been up for 3 hours. Either way, this should feel nice. And back down. And last one, you're gonna roll all the way up. And then you're gonna bring your hands onto your hips. And you're gonna think about your hips going straight back behind you. You can bring your hands onto your hips if that helps, or you can leave them in front of you, your preference. But think about bending at the knee and then sending your hips straight back. And then hinge at the hips and lift all the way up. So think about keeping that nice neutral spine as you hinge at the hips and come forward. You can pause for a little hamstring stretch if that feels nice. But basically you want a neutral lower back, you don't want to be rounded, and then as you come back up, your hips go straight forward. So if you were to keep your hands still in space, as you send your hips back, they'd come right back through your hands at the top. 3 more like this. Not letting your head drop, think crown and tailbone lengthen away from each other. And last one. Good, and then round all the way down here. And then think about finding a little bit of length in the front of your hips. So maybe that means bending your knees a little bit more, but try to find a little bit of length through your back, through your hips. And then round all the way down over your legs here. Maybe your hands reach the ground. Maybe they don't. You can always cross opposite arm, hold opposite elbow if that feels nice. And then you're gonna bend your knees and then straighten them a little bit. Bend and straighten. Not worrying if your legs go all the way straight or not. Last one. And then bend your knees a whole bunch. Lift your toes up and then place your toes back down on the mat. Maybe they're a little wider now. And then peel yourself up off the floor 1 vertebrae at a time as though you're doing a roll up on the floor. And then you're gonna come stand all the way up. From here, take your right foot slightly back behind you, and you just want your toes to be touching on the mat. We're gonna get a little increasingly more difficult towards balancing here. Same thing with the hips. So this would just be like a kickstand deadlift, going into a single leg deadlift, but the hips are going straight back, especially here. as you have your weight all or pretty much all on one side. So those right toes should be super light on the floor. You're gonna do 4 more. Think about reaching the tailbone back behind you. 2. And last one. Good. And then from here, pull that right knee up to about a 90-degree angle. Left leg is still nice and soft. Balance here for a second, and then you're gonna take your hands right to those hips, and then just check if you're starting to rotate out or if you're still staying nice and square. And then you're gonna hinge around that right or left leg reaches back, and then come all the way up. Bring that leg to 90. So you're gonna reach all the way back. Don't worry about your leg being straight or lifting high. Think more about, can you go back without losing that weight shift? Keeping the weight neutral through your hips. 2 more. Last one. And then come all the way up. Extend the right leg in front of you and then hinge at the hip to bring it up and back down. 6 more. Standing up nice and tall. Starting to feel your abdominals engage. Just kind of passively. 2. And last one. Good. And then shake your left leg out. And we're going to trade sides. So here, all the weight is going to come into that right leg again. You're just going to bring your left leg slightly back behind you. Soft bend through the right knee. Check in with your hips. Make sure that the weight is still square. And then hinge back from the hips, reaching the crown of the head away from the tailbone. And come all the way back up. Again, thinking like you're backing up into a parking spot is how this was recently explained, which I thought was a useful image. 3 more. Good, relax the shoulders. And last one. And then come all the way up. Bring that left leg into tabletop. Take a second here, take a breath. Find your balance. And then coming around that right leg, coming all the way back up. You may feel the obliques engage, thinking opposite rib to opposite hip. To help kind of keep you nice and square through the torso. You can always hold on to something here if you need. I'm going to hold on to this painting. 2 more. And last one. Come all the way up. Bring that left leg into tabletop. And then lower the leg all the way down to the floor. And then bend to bring it up for 6. Good, standing nice and tall, shoulders relaxed. 4, 3, 2. And last one, lower all the way down, and then shake your legs out. Come to the back of your mat. Let your knees be nice and soft, and then you're just gonna round yourself down. If you find a spot that is sticky, you feel like you have a lot of tension there, you can pause and really think about creating that space through the back of the legs, a little bit of length. And once you get where you think is your bottom range, take a big inhale there, and then exhale. Try to relax into it. Maybe you'll get a little bit more space, and then you're gonna walk yourself out into a plank for just a second, and then lift your hips up towards the ceiling, bend your knees a whole bunch if you need. Trying to find length again from the crown of the head to the tailbone, and then lower your knees down onto the floor. Press your feet into the ground as you find a little bit of length through the front of your chest, and then curl the tailbone under, round your spine up towards the ceiling. And then find length. And use the press of your hands, your shin, your feet to give you a little bit of feedback. And 2 more. And last one. And then sit all the way back to child's pose. Bring your knees nice and wide. And then let your chest relax down towards the ground. And you can rock your weight from one side to the other. Roll your forehead from one side to the other. Whatever feels good. And then just find a nice place where you can settle in for a second. And you're going to take a nice big inhale and try to feel like your breath is getting apart all the stickiness in between your ribs, maybe between your ribs and your spine as you expand outwards and upwards. And then exhale and try to release that tension. And then 3 more breaths here. Inhale. And then exhale. Trying to find a little bit of relief through that thoracic spine. Or wherever else is super tight for you. Last one. And then come forward onto your stomach. Move your weights out of the way if they're in your face, like mine. And then you're going to make a little pillow for your hands. Give your hips a little shake from one side to the other. And then you're just going to check in. Notice if your ribs are pressing super heavy into the floor and your pelvis is popped up. You have an arch in your low back. You're going to think about drawing the sitting bones down the back of your legs and find almost a little lift through the abdominals. And then you're going to flex your right foot and you're going to kick it in for 2 little pulses and then lift that thigh towards the ceiling. And then lower the leg down, extend it long. Same side, 2 little kick on that right leg and then reach the sole of your foot up towards the ceiling. And then lower down and extend. 3 more. Kick, and then reach it up. Finding that length through the front of your leg as you lift. Kick, lift, lower down, and extend. 2 more. Upper body is nice and relaxed. Last one, kick, lift, and lower all the way down. Give your hips a little shake. Again, check in, make sure there is weight in your pubic bone and your hip bones. And then you're going to flex the left foot, kick it in for 2 pulses, and then reach that thigh long. Sole of your foot goes up to the ceiling, lower down, and extend. And bend in, kick, lift, lower, and extend. 5 more. And as you're doing that little kick in, really think about squeezing through the hamstrings, finding that length still through the front of your leg. Up, lower, and down. 2 more. And last one. Lift, lower, and down. Good. From here, you're going to leave your hands on the floor. Forehead is resting on your hands. Give your hips a little shake. Find that little sense of lift through the lower abdominals. Ribs are wrapped in. And then you're just going to lift the head off of the hands and come up into a little baby cobra here. If this is uncomfortable, you feel like your upper traps are inside of your ears, just bring your hands wider. And then you're going to lower all the way back down. And then think that you're kind of skimming your nose along the floor to lift up. And then lower all the way back down. 2 more with your hands like this. And lower down. Last one. Good, and now your hands are going to come with you as you lengthen. Lift, hands stay connected to the forehead, and then lower all the way back down. You're making your lever a little bit heavier, so you may find you have a harder time kind of keeping the balance with your pelvis. And then again, if that's the case, you're just going to lift your arms in that kind of cactus position. Like so. Last one here. And lower all the way back down. Everyone's going to bring their forearms underneath them and then press the floor away. And then from here, find length where you're bringing your torso through your arms in this little Sphinx pose. And then you're gonna kick with your right leg, extend, kick with your left, and extend. Gaze is more or less straight ahead, kicking in with each leg, alternating. Pick your belly off the floor so you don't want to be in your low back. You're nice and supported here. One more time to the right and to the left. And then you're gonna lower all the way down through the upper body. Bring the legs as wide as your mat, externally rotate them. Bend the knees, bring the heels together. Glue your heels together, and then think about lifting the soles of the feet towards the ceiling, and then lower back down. And if it's too much for you to think about lifting, just think about deepening the squeeze, and lift. Lift and squeeze, or just squeeze, your choice, for 4, 3, 2, and last one, and then lower everything all the way down. Bring your hands to your low back. Cheek can be to either side. Let your shoulders round forward for a second. And then feel the external rotation in your upper arms so that your arms are sort of parallel to the floor. And then you're gonna bend both legs in, kick together. Extend the legs straight and extend the arms behind you, lift the torso. Bend the arms, bring the legs in, kick, other cheek to the ground, and then lift and extend. And then other side, kick, lift and extend. 4 more. Extend, good. Abdominals are still pulling in. Hips are nice and steady on the floor. Ribs are drawing towards one another. Last time to each side. Extend, last one. Extend. And then here, keep everything lifted. Lift your arms a little more. And then flutter kick everything for sort of swimming with your arms in a different place for 10, 9, 8, 7, 4, 3, neck is long, 2, and last one, lengthen everything long, and then lower all the way down, relax your arms, give your hips a shake, and then press yourself back into a nice child's pose again. Good, and then take a little rock from one side to the other. And then bring your legs out in front of you and grab your weights if you'd like. Sitting up nice and tall. You can move your fleshy part of your butt out of the way if you need. And then find length through your torso. Bend your knees as little or as much as you need. And then grab onto your weights. You're gonna extend them out long in front of you. Try to keep your wrists nice and straight, so you don't want your palms facing in front of you. You want to reach long either through the knuckles or the fingertips, your choice. Curl the tailbone under, round your spine back. Let the weights kind of help balance you out a little bit. More weight is going towards your legs with your arms long like this. And so let yourself focus on what is happening through the abdominals as you round down nice and slowly, one vertebrae at a time. Back ribs touch the mat. Only let your arms come overhead so far that the ribs stay connected. And then nod your chin as the hands come forward. Pause when you get your shoulder blades lifted. Round your spine. Send your ribs toward your hips on your exhale. Start to round all the way up. Round over your legs. And then stack your spine up nice and tall. And then again. Curl the tailbone under. Find space in the front of your hips as you round down. Rib to hip connection gets even smaller, even smaller, even smaller. Sacrum touches down, and then uncurl your spine the rest of the way. Back ribs stay down as the hands come overhead. And then bring them back. Nod the chin. Pause here. Exhale. Round all the way up. Try not to press your chin into your chest. Sometimes it's hard. And then curl yourself all the way back up. Check in with your wrists. And then curl yourself back down. And lengthen overhead. And bring them back. Nod the chin and exhale. Making them a little bit more fluid. You have 2 more. You can stay rounded here. Try to keep the arms reaching forward the whole time. Maybe you'll shake, that's fine. And exhale, last one. coming all the way up. Reach over the legs, drop your weights, and just bend your knees and round all the way forward. Stack your spine all the way up. And then from here, you're gonna sit in whatever position is comfortable for you. You can have your legs out in front of you. I'm gonna sit cross-legged, and I will face you. Sitting up nice and tall. Good. Bring your arms more or less, I don't know, your arms aren't straight. They have a soft bend in them here. And then you're gonna curl the tailbone under as you round back just a little bit and then stack the spine up tall. And again, you can do this with your legs straight. So half roll back and up tall. 2 more. And last one. Good, sitting up tall. You're gonna half roll back as you bend your right elbow in, follow that arm with your gaze, and then left side. And up. Good, halfway back. Not even halfway back, more just like the tilt of your pelvis, and back. Keeping that arm in front, straight in center line, so it's not crossing the midline of your body, and also your elbow is not totally straight. 2 more. Last one to each side. Good. Pause in the front, with your arms in front of you. This time you're gonna stay up tall, rotate your palms towards the floor, and then pull your elbows wide, and then just make sure that you're not reaching your ribs forward, and then extend long, and then pull them back and extend. So you're trying to fight gravity a little bit here, not just holding your arms in the air, but where your ribs want to go. 3 more. You can always drop your weights and do this without them. 2. Last one. Good. You're going to keep your arms out in front of you, right arm back, forward, left arm back, forward. 4 more. 3, wrists are straight. 2. And last one. Good, and then lower the arms all the way down. The weights can just come in front of you, and you're gonna come onto your knees. And then grab them again. So here you're up, kneeling nice and tall. You're gonna tuck the tailbone under so you're open through the front of the hip and you don't have that arch in the low back, just a little natural one. And then you're going to lift, I'm gonna hit the wall. You're gonna lift your arms straight out to a T and then lower them back down. And then lift them up and lower down. So your arms are still in your periphery, your elbows are nice and soft. You are kneeling nice and tall. And if this is uncomfortable on your knees, just stand up. 2. I hear birds chirping. It's very confusing based on how cold it is. Last one. Good. And then from here, you're going to hinge at the hip as you bend your elbows and bring the weights towards your shoulders. And then come all the way up tall, arms by your side. So you're bending your elbows as you hinge halfway back and up. And bend and up. 6 more. 5. You can bring your knees wide, 2 if this is helpful. And if you're standing, you're just doing this in a little squat. Think about a little squeeze of the triceps as you extend your arms long. 3, 2, and last one. Good, come halfway back. Bend the elbows in by your side, maybe slightly higher towards the ceiling than your ribs, and then just check in with your body. Do a little pelvic tilt here. Find the connection between your ribs and your hips in the front, and you're gonna extend both arms long behind you, and then bend it, and extend, and bend. Your head is nice and long through the neck, your gaze is ahead of you. You can come a little lower, or you can do this fully upright if that's more comfortable for your body. If you're standing, you're just hinged over slightly. We're all in the position that we were in earlier on our feet. 2 more. Last one, pause here. Pinkies are up towards the ceiling. You're just gonna lift up with the arms straight for 10, 9, 6, shoulders or upper traps are relaxed. 3, 2, last one, and then squeeze it in for 10, 9. Arms stay long. 4, 3, 2, last one, lower all the way down, and then you're gonna come onto your back. So take your weights with you. Grab a sip of water or tea or coffee. And then come all the way back down. You can either have your arms all the way down, arms bent with your upper arm pressing into the ceiling, that'd be cool, into the floor, or you can have your arms all the way up. If they're all the way up, have your palms either face in towards one another or away from you, your choice, but the wrists are nice and strong. Shoulder blades are heavy regardless of what you're doing. You're gonna bring your right leg up to tabletop and your left leg up to meet it. And then from here, you're gonna extend your right arm, left leg, and then resist to bring it back in. And if you have your arms here, you're just extending one arm towards, or the opposite arm towards the floor, and then bend it back in. And if your arms are just staying on the ground, you're just extending one leg and then the other. And switch. You can always put your weights down. It does make it harder to keep your back ribs connected. Really feel the connection from the fingertips all the way down to the toes on that opposite leg. 3 more. Last one. And then we're gonna switch. Pause here. Right arm, right leg. Left leg stays still. Feel how your body has to fight it a little differently to have the same side working. And pelvis is in a nice neutral position. Ribs and hips are connected. Your abdominals are not pressing up towards the ceiling. Last one to each side after this left side. We have one more right. And one more left. Good. Bring the arms all the way together. If you don't want the weights directly over your face, no worries, just drop them. Knees come all the way together in tabletop. You're gonna open your arms all the way to that cactus position as you open your legs like a book, and then you're gonna resist to bring everything back in. And then open out to the side and resist to bring it back in. Think about the engagement through the pelvic floor, the inner thighs. Excuse me. 2 more. And last one. Good. Keep the legs together. Extend the arms up. Open the right arm, right leg, and then resist to bring it back in. Stay on that right side. Keeping the weight even through your hips. You're not rocking in your pelvis. Definitely harder said than done. Your range of motion can be super tiny. 2. And last one. Other side. Again, keep that weight even through the hips and the chest even. 3 or 4 more. 2. And last one. Good. And then bend the leg down, lower the other leg, and then reach the arms and drop the weights down. You're gonna bring your hands behind your head, feet stay down, and we're just gonna do an abdominal curl here. Slide your ribs towards your hips, and then lengthen yourself all the way back down. Just taking a second to reconnect with your abdominals, your pelvic floor. In case you started to lose it on the last, head is heavy in your hands. 2 more. And last one. Good, and then lower all the way down. Your right leg is gonna come into tabletop. grab onto a weight if you would like. You're going to hold onto the weight with both hands, and you're going to curl your head, neck, and shoulders up and reach it over to the outside of your right thigh, and then come all the way back down. And then reach it up and lower back down. 4 more. And you can always do this with your hands behind your head if you prefer, and no weight. Think about sliding that left rib over towards the right hip, but there's still weight in that left hip. Last one, we're going to pause over to the right, and the right leg is going to extend and bend in. And extend and bend. Good. 4, 3, 2 more. Last one. Keep the leg extended, lower it all the way down, and lift it up for 6. Still staying rotated again. Drop the weight, rotate through the upper body only if that's better for you. Last one. And then bend the knee, lower the torso. Now we're going to extend the leg as we twist and rotate, and then lower all the way down, bend the knee. Twist and rotate. 4 more. 3, 2, and last one. Good. Lower all the way down. Drop the weight. Keep it convenient. Extend the right leg up towards the ceiling. Bent is totally fine. Left leg can stay where it is or lengthen it towards the floor. We're going to do a circle for 6. 5. Left leg stays totally still. You're just rotating your femur on the right side in the hip socket. 2. Last one, and reverse your circle. If your leg is bent, cool, keep it bent, but keep it the same amount of bent as you do your circle. 2 more in this direction. And last one, hands behind the head, bend that knee in, twist and rotate, extend the left leg long, and then switch. And switch for a little crisscross. Deep breaths, making sure your abdominals are not puffing up towards the ceiling, breathing before you move. 3, 2, last one, drop the right leg, lower the head, neck, and shoulders, and then grab your weight. Your left leg is now on tabletop. So, hands on that weight, curl the head, neck, and shoulders up, reach over to the left, and then lower all the way back down. And lift and reach. And down. Two more. Make sure your gaze is down your nose. And last one. Good. Pause here. Extend your leg long. Bend it in for 6. 5. 4. 3. Again, you can always drop that weight. 2. Last one. Keep the leg long, lower and lift for 6. 5. 4. Right rib reaching over towards the left hip. Abs are not pressing up towards the ceiling. Last one, bend that knee in, lower all the way down through the torso. Lift and extend the leg, bend and lower down. Lift and extend, and up. 4 more. Weight is even through that right hip as well. 2. Last one. Bend the knee in, lower the weight, bring the hands behind the head. Curl the head, neck, and shoulders up. Extend the right leg long, twist and rotate towards the left leg, and switch. And switch. Switch. I forgot about circles. We'll get that at the end. To the right and left for 3, 2. Last one, the hips are square. Pause, lower down that right leg, lower down the torso, and extend the left leg up into the air. And then you're going to circle it around for 6. Right leg is totally still. 4, relax the upper body. If it's helpful, do the scarecrow arms. It really takes a lot out of your ability to stabilize. Last one. And pause at the top and reverse your circle for 6. 5, checking that inner thigh is working on the right side. Shoulders are relaxed. 2, and last one. Good, bring the knees into your chest and gently rock back and forth from one side to the other. Good, and then you're gonna rock yourself up. And you're gonna take just one weight with you. And you're gonna have your left leg forward. And the weight can just be by your right knee. And then from here, with this left leg forward, you're gonna tuck your tailbone under and find length through the front of your right leg. Think about pulling back towards your torso with the heel of your left leg so that you feel your hamstrings start to engage. And then grab your weight in your left hand. From here, good, so your tailbone is tucked, feeling the engagement through that left thigh or left hamstring. And then you're gonna reach up with the elbow and then extend it long. Bend the elbow and then reach it back to your right hip. So you're doing a little pulling the sword, drawing the sword here. Nice and slow. And then think about squeezing a beach ball, a really big one, I guess, between your inner thighs to keep that engagement towards center line. Last one. Good. And then from here, you're gonna bring your palm or elbow next to your body, palm facing up, and you're just gonna externally rotate and bring it back in. And externally rotate and bring it back in. Your arm is working, very lightweight. You're just focusing on that rotation through the upper arm, through the rotator cuff. Your elbow is just loosely held towards your body, but the legs are working awfully hard, at least mine are. 2, but also getting that little hip flexor thigh stretch. Last one. Good, and then lower that weight down. And then you're gonna come onto your right side, right forearm, and extend your right leg. Yes, this is kind of a weird position to be in, but I promise what we did will make this make sense. Okay, so your forearm is right underneath your shoulder. Your right leg is pressing down into the ground. It's flat on the floor. Your right leg is long, left leg pressing in. And then you're gonna find that same feeling you did when we were just in our 90-90 lunge. You're gonna feel the hamstring engage, pull that heel back towards you. And then think about squeezing now a ball right here in between your thighs. And then you're gonna draw your abdominals in and up. Feel the wrap of your rib cage. Left hand can be on the ground if you like. And then you're just gonna lift yourself up into a side plank here. Find the connection from your ribs to your hips. You may be slightly tilted forward. That's totally fine. Feel that low ab connection. We're just gonna hold for 5, 4, 3, 2. Keep pulling back, engaging the hamstring on that right leg, the glute, and the inner thigh on both. And then lower all the way down. Refine that connection, lift. And now you're gonna pulse down for 8, 7, 6. Don't lose that hamstring. 5, 4, 3, 2, and last one. Lower all the way down. Bend both knees off to the left, and then side bend up and over to the right. Side bend towards your legs. Good, and then come all the way back up. Grab your weight, put it by your left knee, or just hold it in your hand, whatever you prefer. Right leg now comes forward. Tuck the tailbone under, find the opening of your left hip flexor, and then find the pull back of that right leg, the heel towards your torso. Feel the engagement through the hamstring, and then squeeze towards center line. Weight comes into your right hand, left hand is relaxed, and then you're gonna start with this lovely draw sword. Good, keeping your hips nice and square. Don't let that right hip hike up at all. Four more. 3. 2 more. Check in with that right foot. And last one. Good, right elbow comes by your side. And then you're going to externally rotate through that right arm and back in. Your elbow and hand are staying at the same height. Again, check in with your hips. Make sure you're not falling off to one side. Really working evenly through those legs. For 4. 3, and then we side plank. 2. And last one. Good, lower all the way down onto your left side now. Weights can come out of the way. We don't need them again. Your left foot is gonna plant, or no, I'm backwards again. Your right foot is gonna plant into the ground. Left leg comes long. Press down with that right leg. Feel the heel pull back towards you. Find the engagement through the hamstring. Shoulder is right over your hip. And then you can hold onto the ground or lift your arm up, your choice. Feel like you're squeezing a ball in between your legs. And then you're gonna lower down. You're gonna hold. We hold first, then we pulse. 3 more breaths. Really feel the engagement through the front of your abdominals. Feel like if you press on them, they are working, but they're not pressing out towards the space in front of you forcefully. And then lower all the way down. Just tap your hips down, reset, find that hamstring connection, lift, and then find a little imaginary squeeze of a ball as you lift up. Up. For 5. And 3. 2. And last one, lower all the way down. Bring your legs over to the right side, and this time you're gonna side bend to the right. Relax your shoulders, and we're gonna end with a plank. And push-ups, because they're my favorite. Who doesn't love to do one exercise that just kind of works everything? All right, so as I said, weights off to the side. Same with side plank, something a little different today. So you're gonna bring your forearms onto the floor, and your palms are going to be face up. Starting in just a modified plank where your legs are on the ground back behind you, or you're just staying in tabletop, your choice. And you're gonna tuck the tailbone under, and you're gonna find this length. Find the press of yourself, your forearms rather, into the floor, and feel what this does for your abs, your back. I find all the muscles in my armpits working super hard, all the muscles around my shoulders, but not so much my upper traps. If I turn my hands over and I press up, it goes way more into my neck. So, keeping my forearms towards the ceiling, hands towards the ceiling, I'm gonna tuck my right toes and then my left toes, and I'm just gonna find a little plank here. Finding the abdominals, lift, holding for 5, 4, if you're shaking, I am 2, 3, chest is lengthening forward, 2, last one, lower the knees all the way down. Come onto your hands and then shift your weight forward. You can be on your knees or your feet. I'm gonna go onto my knees, but you wanna try to find all those muscles working in the shoulders, or rather the underside of the arm, the serratus, the armpit, rib cage, down your sides, more than the upper traps for your push-ups. So come forward. Try to find that wrap and lift through the center of your body, length through the chest, and then bend your elbows back behind you for 8. 7, head lowers at the same rate as your spine. Gaze can be slightly forward for 4. 3, tailbone tuck gently. 2, and last one. Bring your knees nice and wide. Sit all the way back onto your heels. And then slide your right elbow back. Reach over the right hand with your left hand and kind of sink over to that left side for a nice stretch. And then reach both arms long And then bend the left elbow back, reach over the left hand with the right hand, and then kind of press yourself back, sink into this nice little side stretch again to the right. Good, and then last thing, bring your left foot forward, bring your hands together in front of your body, and then you're just gonna reach down towards your right hip, and then lengthen and reach up over your left shoulder, getting a little rotation through the torso and through the hip. Maybe your stretch is all the way into your abdominals. One more time, down to the right, and then lift and hold. 2 breaths, relax the shoulders. Last one. And then lower the arms all the way down, switch legs. Find that little tuck of the tailbone. Arms come together in front of you. Reach down, twist towards that left hip, and then lift and reach. I don't know, I feel like I'm playing golf when I do this. That's a useful reference for anyone else. Twist and lift for tennis. One more breath. And then come onto both knees. Bring your hands behind your head. Round forward and then lift your chest. And open. And then round down one more time. And lift. Lift your arms all the way up to the ceiling. And then press your arms down as you grow nice and tall. Let your arms find a place by their side. And you're all finished. Thanks.